Today I'm delving back into the crazy naughty world of Nikatsu, and more specifically the side of the naughty nuns. Because yes, Japan was surprisingly a big producer of Nunsploitation films, and I'm saying that because Christianity isn't exactly the main religion, although the Nunsploitation films from there kind of make you believe that it is, but I can assure you, it's not. Why do I love Japanese Nunsploitation so much more than European or American counterparts? Well, you see, because not only are they filthy, vile, degenerate trash cinema, but they also deal with a lot of heavy topics like abuse, trauma, self-harm. They just like to put scenes in between of two nuns stealing bread from dinner and then inserting said bread roll into their vaginas, only to be ashamed because they're doing it in front of everybody, and the church isn't a big fan of, homosexuality, so they go into the basement and they keep having their sexual intercourse while a priest looks at them from a cage. Priest that I might add had his penis cut off for having sexual intercourse with another nun, and then he decides to open up the cage and whip them and put them in a situation of bondage. Yep, this one's really weird. So the plot of Nun's Diary Confession is quite simple because it's only a 69-minute film. Yes, I know, funny, haha, sex number, and it's directed by Koyu Ohara. What was that? That wasn't even Japanese, English, or French. I just had a stroke. And it's directed by the guy who directed Fairy in a Cage and Zoom Up Murder Site. And this one, as I said, plot very simple. We follow Mickey, a nurse who just got married to a doctor. And I guess it's not very well viewed because the doctor mentions that it's a bit shameful as a doctor to marry a nurse. And after their wedding, the man is just having a cold one with himself while Mickey is just in love and infatuated with him. But this is Japanese, so you know that happiness won't last long. Because as she's taking a bath, some hooligans break into their apartment, and one of the hooligans sees that Mickey is in a bath and he decides to, you know what, this is Japanese, you can imagine it, while they make her husband watch. And this might be the earliest cuckolding scene I've seen in a Japanese film. I'm sure there was some previously to that, but I had to mention it, because there's a lot of cuckolding in this film. I think I'm hungry. After that, she is distraught, she wants to call the police, but the husband is like, no, it's already shameful enough that I'm married to a nurse, I don't want to make this thing public. And already you can see that the man is quite a dick. In fact, no character in this has any redeemable qualities other than our main character Mickey, because, well, she's just a victim in all of this. So she goes walking around and she contemplates killing herself, and she goes to a cliff, but she is saved by one man, and that is Priest Xavier, because they all have Christian names, so it's not a Japanese name, it's just Priest Xavier. And he saves her and tells her about his monastery where nuns just put bread rolls in their vaginas, but he doesn't mention that at first. And as soon as she enters the building, she discovers that it is not as holy as she'd hope, because bread rolls, yeah, that scene really stuck out with me, I'm sorry, but it's so goddamn weird and out of nowhere. And since this is a short film, it moves along at a fast pace, so I'll quickly tell you the subplot of the film. Well, the main plot, subplot. There's a lot of plots for being 69 minutes long. So there is this criminal who got shot by the Yakuza who walks into the monastery at night, and Mickey sees him and decides that she can do her nurse things on him, and she helps him out. But he's not very grateful. Again, he's a total dickhead. He just tells her that she's a shitty nurse and he can see why she stopped doing it after she took out a bullet out of his arm. Like, bruh, chill out, man. She just saved your life, and she's gonna keep you in the convent instead of kicking you out where you could get arrested. She's gonna take care of you, and you're just being a prick. At least he doesn't assault her. Unlike the time where another nun walks into them and he decides to assault the other nun, which leads to her being caught by the head nun and also Mickey getting caught, not with the guy, but they assume that her and the girl that just was assaulted by the Yakuza guy had a lesbian affair, so they make them confess. By that I mean we get bondage. In between that, we get to see that the priest Xavier really likes money. And the reason he really likes money is because he wants to go to this kind of priest convention, and the more money you get donated, the higher you are, and since, you know, it's like Japanese work, it's very competitive. Anyways, he really wants the money. He also has an affair with the head nun, which leads to another scene where the priest that's been castrated is looking at people having sex in front of him, but he can't get off. So what he does is he licks a toilet. Which, at least there was no pee-pee caca scenes in this. I was kind of hoping not to see that, but there is none. Haha, pun intended. Eventually, the gangster is well enough, but he still hides in the monastery because he's still, you know, searched by the police. He also explains to Mickey that his sister is actually also a nun in this convent, and then we figured out that she committed self-death. All of this leads to the final act, which is so weird and absurd that you can't do anything but admire the balls of whoever directed and wrote this. So the way that priest Xavier will have the most money is by organizing a monthly Saint Animal party, which is a party where rich people come in, give a certain amount to the church, they get donated a mask that's basically just blackface. You knew this was gonna be offensive, don't act like you're shocked. And then they sit down and we get an auction. An auction for a nun in a sheep costume. This is also probably the first furry on film. Eventually, one of the guys win the prize, and we discover that it's Mickey under the sheep costume, and of course, he has sex with the sheep. The lady in a sheep costume. He kind of takes her half out of the sheep costume, so it's not as weird, but it's still some like weird furry sex thing. And eventually this Saint Animal party turns into a literal orgy with nuns and rich people wearing masks of blackface, and during that time, because they're distracted due to the orgy, our Yakuza guy walks in there, saves Mickey, and then the police walk into the scene of the orgy and they're like, yo, why is there an orgy at the monastery? And then our main character is saved by the Yakuza guy, and now the end. So, what did I think of Nun's Diary Confession? Well, this wasn't Koyu Ohara's favorite film from mine. I still hold Fairy in a Cage as kind of this Nikatsu bondage masterpiece, but this is alright. This is a good movie. It is one that if you are a fan of the Nikatsu Roman porno / Pinku, because this has a lot of Pinku vibes, but if you are a fan, this is a must-watch because it's a movie from one of their best-known directors. It's beautifully shot. The music is weird, but also slaps at time. The music is so out of place, but it's also fitting, which is really strange. And the characters are interesting. Mickey is an interesting character. And it has all the sleaze and the trash that you expect from one of these films, plus it's super short. So yes, I recommend it if you're curious, but it wouldn't be my first recommendation. It wouldn't be on top of my list of Nikatsu Roman pornos that you need to see, but it's one that if you're well versed enough and you're curious about the genre, you should look out for. Thank you guys, and see you guys next time.